Hello everyone, welcome to the BusMe channel. Recently, I took some of my bus models out of their boxes and displayed them in a display cabinet. To my surprise, I realized that I've actually accumulated way too many bus models, and there's just not enough space to display them all. In addition to some ready-made bus models, some of these are actually custom modifications that we've done ourselves. Looking back over the past decade, my team at BusMe and I have probably modified hundreds of bus models. This has allowed many people to relive their memories through these models. Of course, I've had my own share of these memories as well. In this episode, I'll be sharing with you my top 10 favorite custom modified bus models. The criteria for ranking them have nothing to do with how well the modifications were done or how good they look. Instead, it's purely based on my personal favorites, such as models that are tied to my memories or unique bus types. Before we start the video, a quick reminder to like, subscribe, and share our channel. Let's go! Not sure if any of these top 10 are bus models you like as well? Without further ado, let's dive into the top 10 favorite custom modified bus models. 10th place. Some buses, even when they are retired, are still in excellent condition. The bus companies will donate them to various organizations, like schools, or in the case of this one, it was donated to be used as an IT bus. It's a 12-meter Dennis Dragon that was modified. I remember that during several years of the KMB Outstanding Bus Captain election, we would see this bus being displayed. It had air conditioning installed and was equipped with many computers. We also used a resin model to modify it to resemble its original appearance. 9th place. Thinking back to over 20 years ago, when the new Cheklap Coke Airport had just been completed, there were new bus companies, like Longwind Bus, and new super low-floor buses, Trident arrived, which gave people a refreshing feeling. A large number of the new buses were adorned with advertisements for Cathay Pacific Airlines. Some buses even had different destinations printed on them, such as Los Angeles, Sydney, Beijing, and so on. This particular bus had London written on it, which made it one of the most memorable for me. Fast forward over 20 years, and many Hong Kong people are now living in the UK, which makes modifying this model even more meaningful to me. 8th place. As someone who once lived in Ma On Shan, I will never forget the bus route 85K. It was one of the essential routes for many students traveling to Sha Tin for school. I still vividly recall the Soy Sauce King advertisement on this route, which accompanied me during my school commutes. Whenever the schedule aligned just right and I happened to catch a glimpse of this bus, it brought back a flood of memories. 7th place. I used to love visiting the Kowloon Motor Bus Assembly Plant in Tuen Mun from time to time to watch new buses being assembled. On one occasion, I saw a 12-meter Dennis Dragon air-conditioned bus nearing the completion of its assembly. One of the buses was about to be painted, and its windows were covered with newspapers. I found it fascinating and took some photos of it. Later, when a Dennis Dragon bus model was released, I immediately recreated the scene from that day. 6th place. There was a real bus that I never had the chance to see in person. I remember back in school, a classmate brought a magazine to share, and one of the features was about this particular Elsa Volvo bus. That's how I learned that KMB had once operated this bus model, though it only lasted about a year before it was destroyed in a fire. Unfortunately, I never got to ride it. However, when the Leyland Olympian model was released later, my friends and I used reference images to modify it and recreate what we imagined the Elsa Volvo would have looked like back in the day. 5th place. Have you ever heard of something called smart buses? Back in the 1990s, during various promotional events held by Kowloon Motor Bus, you might come across these mini chibi-style buses, one representing a boy and the other a girl. Children could sit on top of them and ride a loop around one part of the bus depot. These smart buses were carried by a modified Daimler E-bus, nicknamed the Bus Doctor. I gathered information and photos from that time to attempt a model recreation of it. For me, it remains a cherished memory. Fourth place. The power of creativity and imagination can truly surprise you. A few years ago, KMB offered the option to change their newly launched buses from gold to red. This got me thinking, what if I applied this idea to buses that could never realistically exist in Hong Kong? I experimented with different models, but one of my favorites was inspired by photos of a golden Neoplan Centraliner facelift bus taken at a Neoplan factory in Germany. Using those photos, I imagined what it would look like if it came to Hong Kong as a red KMB bus. Another bus I worked on was the Boris Master. It once appeared in Hong Kong at an event where it was photographed alongside KMB's Daimler A. I wondered what it would be like if Hong Kong had its own version of this bus. So I created a model with KMB's iconic red livery. I'm curious, do you have any unique creations or imaginative designs for bus models? Third place. My favorite bus isn't even a Hong Kong bus. It's actually a Taiwanese bus, but it has a deep connection to Hong Kong. As far as I know, it was assembled at KMB's Tuen Mun depot in Hong Kong. I even caught a glimpse of it parked inside the depot during that time, which left a strong impression on me. This left-hand drive bus later disappeared without much information available. Later on, I discovered that it had been shipped to Taiwan, where it was tested for a while before being decommissioned and eventually brought back to Hong Kong. It ended up became the warehouse at Citybus. Because of its unique history, my team and I decided to create a model of this bus, converting it from a right-hand drive to left-hand drive. The project was quite complex, but the final result turned out great, and it remains a nostalgic memory for me. Second place. In my heart, this spot goes to a truly unforgettable bus, a Leyland Olympian that had its bodywork rebuilt. I vividly remember one particular ride on this bus while traveling on the 85M route through the Tate's Cairn Tunnel. Suddenly, the bus broke down, and we had to switch to another bus outside the tunnel. That was before this bus, DR889, had its body rebuilt. After a while, I stopped seeing it on the roads. Then one day, on my way to school, I saw a new-looking bus, and upon researching, I discovered it was the same bus but with a new sway-jing body. The very day it debuted, I made a special trip after school to wait for it and eventually rode it on the 80K route. Over time, I frequently encountered it, especially on Ma-on Shan routes like 85M and 87K. This unique bus left such a deep impression on me that my team and I recreated it using a China Motor Bus LM model as the base. This way, I can always relive my memories of this special bus through the model. Have you ever seen it? Or do you like it as much as I do? First place. When it comes to modifications, this bus has undergone numerous transformations. From the old ABC model to the later bus's model version, it has seen many iterations. When I was a child living in Tuen Mun, I remember the day when the 61A route suddenly switched to 3-axle, 12-meter buses. It was a completely refreshing experience. Later, I learned that there were only 3 of these buses, all assigned to the 61A route, which made them even more special to me. One of these buses featured a Saragan advertisement. Recreating this ad for the model bus was quite challenging. Back then, there wasn't much information available, so we had to rely on tiny old photos to piece it together. The main character in the ad had to be painstakingly reconstructed on a computer, and in some cases, we even had to take our own reference photos to replicate the look accurately. Another of these buses carried a Demaru ad, which holds special meaning for me. This was the first advertisement bus model we created when we established BusMe, making it a milestone in our journey. Modifying these 3 MCW Super Metrobus 12-meter models, featuring Saragan, Demaru, and KMB hot dog livery, was a monumental project for me, filled with nostalgia and personal significance. Naturally, this bus became the winner of my all-time favorite self-modified model bus. What's your favorite bus model? Whether it's one you modified yourself or purchased, feel free to share in the comments. Alright, see you in the next episode.